to all my friends in the tubular universe. It's the Vegematic Deluxe Show. So glad you could stop by. Oh, what is going on? What is going on in the world? Let's see. More craziness. Yes, more insanity, more apocalyptic talk, more of everything. All brought to you by the fine people at Capitalism Inc. You know, the recommendations that you get sent are videos that you probably want to watch because the algorithms are so good that they know your personality and they know exactly what you want to see. So, of course, I often check them and say, well, there's a few things there, maybe. So I see this video the other day, and it says, rock the vote. That's all it said, rock the vote. Okay, I'll give it a shot. This thing comes on, and this guy shows ads about voting, registering to vote, get out the vote. And then he goes into this rant of why this was a terrible thing for our society because, well, I'll let him explain it to you himself because he comes across as a very reasonable and sound gentleman, not at all crazy. I cannot believe that this guy is actually he's a minister. So I don't know what diploma mill he got it from, but maybe the churches are really worse than I thought. Apparently they are. Yes, this guy really hates democracy. He hates it. He's afraid of it. He doesn't want everybody to vote, just people that think like him, that act like him, that are morally upstanding like he is.
Only 60% of y'all voted in 2016? That's not gonna get it done. We can't win if we don't play.
Register.
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 You might be wondering, what do you have against that? They're not telling you who to vote for or what to vote for. They're not presenting any issues at all. They're just telling you to vote. And don't we want all people to vote? Doesn't everybody's voice matter? Isn't democracy morally virtuous? And my answer is no.
So excuse me, but at what point did being a minister become a shill for right-wing politics and dangerous policies? Why aren't they preaching the gospel? You know, love thy neighbor as yourself, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? They never talk about that somehow. Love thy neighbor as thyself and beat him over the head as often as possible. Yes, this will get you into heaven.
And the only system of government that God institutes in the Bible is a theocracy, not a democracy or a republic. There is no system of government that is inherently good or evil. Wait, what? What about dictatorships? Aren't those evil? Well, not if the dictator is good. The best government system, the most moral system, is what best mitigates against our sinful nature and promotes human welfare and human flourishing.
So the best form of government, according to him, is one that mitigates against our sinful nature. Well, whose sinful nature? And who is going to judge whether your nature or whatever you're doing is sinful? Yeah, one man's sin's another man's virtue, I suppose.
I'm against nonpartisan get-out-the-vote efforts. We're a republic, not a pure democracy, and deliberately so because the Founding Fathers looked at the real-world effects of pure democracy in history and found that it does not best mitigate against our sinful nature or best promote human flourishing.
Yeah, but, you know, you got to think about this. Guy talks about the Founding Fathers. What is it in America about the Founding Fathers in this sort of sense that they were sort of this religious or quasi-religion thing, and it's tied in with Christianity, and it's tied... No. I mean, Ben Franklin, for God's sakes. If you look into his life, there's some pretty risque stuff there. Ever heard of the Hellfire Club in London? No? It's just a bit of Americana for you. Well, by now, of course, everybody around the internet is aware of the trading card thing. I guess it's beyond parody, and you get beyond parody to a certain point, and You can't even make jokes about it because such is life, isn't it? Life in late capitalist societies. One day they might write a book about it. Yeah. Oh, they already did? Yeah, we're all doomed. Scientists, our voice is crying in the wilderness. And nobody is paying any attention. Well, we can't change it. I think we've crossed the point of no return many, many years ago. And we just have to accept either extinction or a slow, painful asphyxiation at this point. Why is it that the old continually rule over the young? And this bothers me a lot in seeing the generation gap. There's a term we haven't heard since the 60s. The generation gap exists because every single generation, for one thing, will blame the one before for how bad things have gotten. But things are just, of course, going to get worse and worse because nothing is changing. Things are accelerating. Population is increasing. At one time, there was an idealistic bunch of young people, so I understand what it is to be young and idealistic. And to have an influence on the culture is much more difficult now than it was way back when, in Vegematic days. I can remember my first exposure to hippie culture, and I was about 11 years old, and we were on vacation in my dad's Rambler Ambassador station wagon, pile the kids in and go camping on Cape Cod. And we were staying at a campground near Provincetown, and Provincetown at the time was the hippie mecca. And I remember sitting and just taking it all in, and my parents were like, it was like a circus sideshow to them, and they were just, oh, isn't that awful? Oh, look at those terrible people. Look at what they're wearing. Look at how they're dressed. Look at the hair. Oh my God. And I'm sitting in the back seat thinking to myself, is that ever cool? Wow, look at that. That's amazing. So that was my first exposure to the counterculture at age 11. Of course, by then, it had made me a complete convert, unbeknownst to my straight-laced parents. I had some subversive thoughts going in my head, even back then, when I was a kid. Yes, I remember being 11 and seeing all these beautiful women in long flowing dresses, smelling of patchouli, and everybody being kind to each other. And you can't make that shit up. I mean, and you can't stop an effect like that. So in spite of my parents' disgust, that was the beginning of my hippie journey. And then disco showed up. Oh, God. Oh, man. Oh, ugh. And it's the whole counterculture thing just, it was gone in a puff of polyester pants, slinky dresses, and they were all dressed up with makeup, and they looked like scary. Seriously though, I never wanted to go to a disco because, yeah, that was a different culture. We were still into rock. Well, the hippie thing kind of faded out in the 70s, and it died with a whimper instead of a thud, or a thud and a whimper. And always idealistic movements tend to burn themselves out. And I see these young kids in Extinction Rebellion and everything, and more power to them for trying something, for trying to get some attention paid to the most critical issues of our time. But instead, the older people are buying lots of weapons and throwing them at each other and figuring out more inventive and deadly ways to kill one another. That is what the purpose of industry seems to be. Defense my ass. It's killing people, no matter how you look at it. Murder is murder. And so we face another orgy of consumerism at this time of year. And I feel bad because I actually think that I might have inadvertently participated in the festival of consumerism and consumption. Inadvertently, mind you. One of our laptops died instantly, just went poof, that was it was out. And, well, of course, we had to replace it, so we went to Best Buy, and my dear wife knew that I had my eye on this Sony camera for quite a long time, and I had couldn't really justify it, that kind of an expense. But then my wife said something really quite profound. She said, well, how long are we going to be around? We don't know. We're old, right? We could kick off it, and I'd like to buy that for you for Christmas. So my dear wife bought me a beautiful camera for Christmas. And who benefits from it? The armpit viewer. I mean the Veg Deluxe viewer. You will. So a hearty thanks to my dear wife, Trish. Cindy over at The Revolution Continues wrote a really good piece about who should be Person of the Year. And go over there and give it a read. She's quite a good writer. And it's the American worker. Well, I would say workers in Canada are no different. They keep everything running, no matter how denigrated they are or how stepped on they are. They keep working. Anyway, go over to therevolutioncontinues.com and read Cindy Matthews, C.A. Matthews, current article. I think you'll enjoy it. So, until next time, this is Vegematic, the deluxe version. Yeah, I think I've got to get some chrome accessories or something to be called deluxe. Maybe some shag carpeting, cruise control, something like that. So I'll see you all, and peace, love, look after each other, take care of each other, look after animals, and most of all, be kind. Leave your comments down below. As you know, they will get an answer. And that's what makes Vegematic truly deluxe, is that I am one creator who always answers every comment. So don't bother subscribing if you haven't. No, just kidding. I'd really like it if you did, but you don't want to come on here and say, well, like and subscribe, like every other tubular channel in the tubosphere. So, I'm not good at promoting myself. You think I should promote myself? How do you think I should promote myself? Love all of you, and especially you. So you can take that to the bank. It'll probably bounce, but you can take it there. Talk to you later. Bye.